Brendan Sorsby has committed to transfer to Texas Tech from Cincinnati. Let's talk about why the Red Raiders are reportedly paying in the neighborhood of $5 million for 1 year of football for a quarterback that has not won a championship and has played his best football at Cincinnati. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Texas Tech has overpaid for what looks like their 2026 starting quarterback in Brendan Sorsby? They were also looking to at least try to recruit Sam Levitt from the portal, but it seems that Sam Levitt took his trip to Texas Tech and or LSU and yet to make a decision. And Brendan Sorsby also was looking to perhaps go to Texas Tech or LSU. And in a case of, hey, first guy that wants to commit gets the bag, Brendan Sorsby takes his 2,800 yards passing, 27 passing touchdowns, 580 yards rushing, 9 rushing touchdowns to Texas Tech. And that is the reason why Brendan Sorsby was listed, at least by ESPN, as the number 1 player at his position in the transfer portal. And as is generally the case, quarterback is the most important position on any football team, so they are the highest paid player on most football teams. What's fascinating about Brendan Sorsby's deal is that it is in the neighborhood of the highest value that we've ever seen for a transfer quarterback, which means the market is only going up. This is after Darren Mensah famously signed a deal last January to play at Duke for 2 years that pays him $8 million over the course of those 2 years. That is 2 years of eligibility, also tremendously helped with the value of the deal. Now, we know that Carson Beck, John Mateer, others were among the highest paid players in the sport last year when they chose to transfer to Miami and Oklahoma, respectively, making between $3 and $4 million. Then we learn in this cycle that Oklahoma State had broken out the checkbook to pay former North Texas quarterback Drew Mestemaker $3.5 million to bring him to Stillwater to help Eric Morris get off on the good foot for the folks who want to compete at the highest level and are chasing what Texas Tech was able to do, win the Big 12 championship and earn a berth to the college football playoff. Texas Tech did that as a number 4 seed, but it showed just how far they were from contending for the national championship in their 23-0 loss in the Orange Bowl to Oregon. And it wasn't the defense that let them down. The defense that they paid a lot of money to put together with Jacob Rodriguez at linebacker, Ben Roberts at linebacker, with David Bailey making $3 million as an edge rusher, Romello Height in the neighborhood. It was one of the best defenses that money could buy, and it played like it. Where they were let down was on the offensive side. Baron Morton played one of the worst football games of his life on one of the biggest stages of his life. It's in tears after it because that's finishing his Tech career, but it's also a career that was checkered with injuries for Morton, and they didn't get to have him throughout the entire year. In the game that he didn't play, they lost to Arizona State, but I thought at least that Will Hammond might be a pretty good guy to go with, and they're not taking any chances in Lubbock. They went to go get what they thought was a guy that could not only help them in their passing game, but can take care of himself in his run game. And that was the thing that Scott Satterfield would try to tell anybody that would listen going in the Big 12 media days is, I've got the best dual threat quarterback in the sport, and the quarterback that led the conference in rushing yards. That did not go unnoticed. And when they put together a similar performance, but not number of wins, you could see why Brendan Sorsby was a coveted prospect. Also, just think about this. Sorsby was starting quarterback at Indiana the year that Curt Cignetti comes in. So 2023, Curt Cignetti comes in, Brendan Sorsby goes in the portal, comes out Cincinnati. Imagine what happens if Brendan Sorsby just stays put at Indiana. Perhaps they're a better football team. Maybe, maybe not. Curtis worked at yeoman's work getting that team to a really outstanding 2024 season, 11 wins, berth in the college football playoff. And then they did one better with Fernando Mendoza, undefeated, going to college football playoff semifinal, going to face Oregon in the Peach Bowl with a chance to play for the national championship. Now, Tech, who has been spending its money all over college athletics, is making sure that the crown jewel of their athletic program stays well fed. I don't mind telling you, in track and field, Texas Tech is outspending people. In softball, Texas Tech is outspending people. They sit on one of the nation's biggest oil deposits, and they're acting like it now. It's also really interesting to watch all this go down as we take a look just a little bit further out to geopolitics and the politics domestically as it relates to gas and oil prices. I'm curious what all this does to the price of oil per barrel in the United States with the news in Venezuela, right? Coupled with we've seen lower gas prices. Even in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I could drive through and see Quick Trip's got the prices for a gallon of gas down to $2.04. I don't think it's going to affect Texas Tech in the short term by any stretch. And as long as we have gas-powered vehicles, I think we're going to be okay if we're sitting on, the mid-con, which is basically where Texas Tech is. But I want to keep having this conversation as we've got Texas Tech not just outspending people, but Cody Campbell, who is chairman of their board of regents, is also very loud about wanting to change the very nature of college football and college athletics. He wants to see a new modernized way in which networks have to prioritize Olympic sports on their broadcast, make it law. Would that change how we pay out revenue sharing? Would that change how we schedule games for football? Would they be up against the NFL? Would they be same time as the NFL? Would we not be able to spread out our primetime games so that we don't have to have them competing against each other or in back-to-back slots? Even so, what if we start playing college football on Sundays or Monday nights, that sort of thing? But all that is into the future. Presently, Texas Tech is in great spot with a really great quarterback, and Mac Leftwich is going to absolutely be able to dial up an offense that Brendan Sorsby can run and perhaps get them back to that 40-plus points per game that they were scoring. Again, for me, it's not that Brendan Sorsby isn't a great player. He is a fantastic player. It's that we're seeing not just the price of brick go up, but the number of people that are willing to pay that price continue to rise. While we've got so many people that are claiming that they don't like the way that college football is operating, that they want to see more regulations, that they want to see rules that can be enforced, and they want to see enforcement of those rules, we're also seeing universities and their boosters and collectives are finding more money to pay players. If you could not afford to pay them, the price would not be that high because you simply would have to look at them straight in the eye and say, I don't have it. But Texas Tech and LSU have always been very proud of how much money they can bring in. And if they're going to be able to use that as the cudgel to beat the rest of college football to death with, they're going to do that. LSU has been able to do that since hiring Nick Saban in 2000, gets them to a national championship in 2003. LSU at Les Miles, LSU at Ed Orgeron. Brian Kelly moved to Baton Rouge because he thought he could get it done there. And then they went to pay $13 million annually to Lane Kiffin, plus bonuses for working and doing against Ole Miss. They got the money. Same thing is true of Texas Tech. They just don't have the accolades. And when they get the accolades, then you can absolutely start to see more of Texas Tech in the national conversation landscape. And this is the year for it, right? Oregon, Indiana, and Ole Miss, three teams that have not won a national championship in the modern era, right? Ole Miss having won one 64 years ago, have a chance to do that. Miami, who hasn't won a national championship in 25 years, has a chance to do that. It's new blood. It's what the college football playoff was originally designed to do. And now that we're seeing, it ain't just the same teams that make the national championship game each and every year that we've expanded the field. You have more folks that expect to be there that aren't. And you have more folks that think they can get there that do. So now the the heat has been turned up, ratcheted up. And I expect to see more moves like this. Good for Brendan Sorsby getting the bag.